Let's now invite Adam Donald King, Labour and Union Analyst. Adam, good afternoon and thanks for your time. Your assessment of where things stand, despite the new offer and the back and forth over it, do you think that the strike is imminent?
Well, it's hard to say. Stranger things have happened, but we could. It's unlikely, I think, that we see a settlement before the strike deadline. The union wanted additional time to carefully review, as you mentioned, the offer, but the employer has refused. So if we're to get a deal, there's going to have to be some hard bargaining up to the deadline.
Let me talk to you a little about that. The fact that the union has requested about 2 weeks of time to consider the offer, saying it takes time to read these legal documents, but Canada Post, as we know, has refused to that. Wouldn't anything be welcome if a strike is delayed, or how does it work?
Well, I mean, the union is right that it does take time to consider carefully collective bargaining language because once it's in the agreement, it's in the agreement, and you have to deal with the terms of it over the course of that, over the life of the agreement. And so, these things are complicated and do take time. But there was considerable time before this to be negotiating, and it's unfortunate that the parties were unable to. Some of the sticking points remain. This issue of part-time work and securing full-time jobs, I think, is still really the main issue that has to be dealt with.
And how do you suppose that will happen, Adam? Because we know that this has been a sticking point, the bone of contention for a very long period of time. Part-time workers versus permanent employees, weekend staffing. How do you think something like that gets resolved that has not been able to happen for months and probably a year now?
Yeah, well, it's a very contentious issue. And, as it stands right now, the language in the collective agreement does permit the employer to do parcel delivery on the weekends with full-time staff. And what they're seeking really is a flexibilization of their labor force. And I think most Canadians can understand, working Canadians can understand the desire of the union really to protect full-time employment. Increasing the number of, or the share of employees at Canada Post to 20% part-time is considerable. And once you do that for weekend delivery, it could just be a matter of time before you're doing the same for routes during the week and other positions. So the union is firm on wanting to protect those full-time jobs.
It's too early to suggest, but we saw what happened last time around. Eventually, the government had to intervene and workers were asked to return to the job. My question to you being, with not much movement on either of the sides, what do you think is going to be the outcome? I was speaking to someone else who said, for all you know, this could be like one of those endless strikes.
Yes, well, I mean, that's sort of the point of having the strike as an option during collective bargaining is to encourage the parties to bargain. And unfortunately, the government really intervened in a very unhelpful way before the Christmas break by sending the parties to this industrial commission, which was not arbitration, and really just kicked the can down the road on the issue of striking. And now, the parties' bargaining positions have been altered. In some sense, the union's position has been weakened by virtue of the fact that it's now striking not during the holiday season. And so, it could drag on if it ends up in a strike, but it really all depends on the response of the employer at this point.
Okay, Adam Donald King, Labour and Union Analyst. Appreciate your time, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you.